Mono Community, Jason here. How's it going? Sunday afternoon. Special one today outside. I've been sort of quarantined. I was kind of have tail end my COVID experience here, and family is out, so I'm able to hang out outside a little bit. I wanted to do a video since I got back from Brazil, so thought no better time than now. I got nothing else to do really either. I'm kind of just sitting here bored. So today, I don't know if I probably mentioned it. I went to Brazil, got a chance to go pick up the records that I had bought there previously, and actually finally got able to dig, and it was like one of the best things in my life. So kind of just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that I picked up there. So yeah, I did have a few other records that I traded. Haven't got a chance to really just clean them. Haven't got a chance to really listen too much. So we'll talk about those later. But the first one we're listening to, this is it's not Brazilian. This is the Hugo Echner Septet, Echner's Landing, and I just got back from a trip. That's the back. It's called Artist. I think these guys are from Vancouver. But so I just got back from Oregon, came back from Brazil, and I was home for about 10 days, and then went to stay with my dad in Oregon for about a week and a half or something. So I was able to go out there, and I'll talk about this record more, but I was able to go to like an antique store. It was kind of almost like a record store. I thought it was going to be more of an antique store, but the stuff was priced a little high, but I picked up a couple like local press, kind of private press stuff I didn't know too much about. Couldn't find it online, took a chance, it was cheap. This is one of them. These guys are, like I said, I think they're from Canada, but this was recorded in Washington. And where my dad lives is like northern Oregon, almost. You're like on the border of Washington, so it's kind of around there. And there's a song on here called, we're listening to, Swastikats is the name of the song, but one of the reasons I picked it up is a song on here called Shroom Tunes, and I thought that was interesting. So, and these guys just like total hippies on the back. So, anyways, that is what we're listening to. But enough about that. About my trip to Brazil, it was a challenge to dig. Actually, I met a guy maybe a month before I left, a Brazilian guy who was a DJ, like an actual vinyl DJ, but he spun like house music and stuff. But he was trying to hook me up with a friend of his, and I was supposed to go on a dig, like a private dig, like to go get a collector's house and dig. It's hard to get. Apparently, in Brazil, I guess the record stores is hard to get the goods. You really have to kind of get them from privately, I guess. That's just what I've heard. So I was trying to set that up, and it fell through a couple times, but I was able to finally get a dig. I went to a flea market on Saturday right before I left. I think I was leaving on like a Tuesday morning, and so the Saturday before I left, I went to a flea market like butt-ass early. I met a guy, Fernando, I don't know if you guys are on Instagram and follow Brazilian records. There's a guy who's pretty popular called Croco Discos, and I've been trading with him for like years. Apparently I was like the first one he was selling international records to. So, he was happy to meet me. First time I ever met him in person. And he actually is from Sao Paulo, but he took the bus up. And man, it was insane. There was a lot of cheap stuff. I probably should have picked up more. I was just a little overwhelmed, didn't know what to expect. But there was definitely one seller who had like a bunch of really good records, and that's what he told me. He's like, go to this guy's booth. I didn't know after. I'd like, oh yeah, I already saw it. But he had like a box on the bottom that had like all these amazing records, like Tim Maia, Rationale. But some of the stuff was kind of iffy, the condition, so I didn't buy stuff. And I was kind of limited on cash. I was having a hard time pulling out cash when I was there. I kept trying, but finally able to figure out a few days before this show. But you're limited on now. You can pull out a day. So there was actually one record I left behind. I sort of regret. The condition was iffy, and my friend ended up hooking me up with it. Actually, I just bought it yesterday. So, anyways, enough about that. Here's some of the records that I scored. It was fun. I can't wait. Next time I know exactly what to do, and I think I'm gonna bring a ton of money because there's a lot of records that were like desirable, but like I already have, and maybe I could have upgraded, or like Gal Costa, her first album, I think I saw like 4 or 5 copies of it. I just didn't take the time. I was a little overwhelmed. Take the time to like I did spend a good portion of it, I spent most of the morning there, but there was actually a record fair I went to after as well. It ended up being not as good. I found a couple things, but it was more expensive than the flea market, but not as many like gems. So next time I know, just kind of spend all day there and kind of pick up some of those stuff that's a little bit more common. Maybe I could trade or flip or something, like the Gal Costa record I found. So I found 4 or 5 copies. I didn't check them all. I was just kind of overwhelmed, you know, just being in Brazil. In the flea market, just, you know, just got a little bit overwhelmed. Anyways, so here's some of the records I got. This is the first one. This is actually an upgrade. I passed along my other copy to my friend. This is Milton Nascimento, Malega dos Peixes, and it comes with the 7-inch, so this is the complete set. I had actually bought the 7-inch before I left, and I actually bought these from a seller, so this was waiting for me when I got there. I had them shipped all to my wife's friend before I got there, so they were all there and they all arrived. This is on Odeon. This is from '73. I think this is the 3rd of Milton's like essentials. You have his first one with the caricature picture with like the orange lettering. I think it's just called Milton. And then after that, you got Clube de Esquina, and then this one. I believe they all feature. What's his name? The guy from Som Imaginar, Wagner Tiso, who is kind of part of Clube Esquina. He is one of the Clube Esquina members. I think this has a bunch of Clube Esquina folks on it. I'm pretty sure that Nelson Angelo's on this as well. It's got the cool fold out with all the inserts. Yeah. So, yeah, stoked. Yeah, I thought the guy said it didn't have all the inserts, but it did. This is pretty nice. It's not like super mint, but it's better than my other copy. The cover and then the record's played much nicer than my other copies. So stoked to get that one. Finally, I was looking for an upgrade to that since I kind of got screwed. The last seller I bought it from, he was not that truthful in the condition, so I forgot what to do with these. Alright. Next, I got a run of Georgia Bain records. This is Benny Samba Bon. This is the original on Philips. This apparently is from what my friend Fernando told me. He got it for me, so he brought it up with him from Sao Paulo, and so I was able to get that from him. I paid for it, obviously. He got me a decent deal. This is apparently like Georgia Bain's hardest record to find. He said he never sees it. Yeah, I don't really see it for sale that much, but this one's like super clean. Yeah, this is like insane. So Georgia Bain, early, I think this is his 3rd album, so one of his earlier stuff. Love Georgia Bain. Another Georgia Bain record. This is on Philips. Solta y Pavo. I think all his stuff was on Philips. Yeah, another Georgia Bain record I didn't have. Fernando hooked me up with a guy who actually met us at the flea market. He found someone who had one in Rio on a Facebook page, and the guy met us there, and it's a fantastic condition, and the guy's price was pretty fair. I think it was 250 reais, which is about $50 for like an excellent copy in my hand, no shipping, so I can't pass that up. It was on my list. Another one, Georgia Bain, Nega Linda. This is one that I needed a copy because I gifted my other copy to a friend. My friend who helped me do my fence, Fabricio, he's a big record collector, and I gave him some cash, but I also gave him some records, and this was one of them. Yeah, and this one's amazing. This has Rita Jeep is the big song on this. I think a lot of DJs that's their go-to for Georgia Bain, but I believe Arthur Versailles is the one who did, he did the arrangements, Arthur Versailles. So there's a lot of like string arrangements on here and stuff. It's really amazing. One of my favorites from Georgia Bain. So I am now only missing one Georgia Bain record, and I have his complete studio catalog from 63 or whatever his first one was, 63, 65 to Zé de Pechinho, which was I think 78. So I almost have his complete 60s and 70s catalog, just missing one. So yeah, I'm super stoked when I get that one. I'm not usually a completist, but Georgia Bain, for me, he for sure has the deepest catalog out of any Brazilian musician. At least, like, Milton Nascimento is pretty deep, Caetano Veloso as well, but for like the quality. Like I would say anything from his first release to Africa Brazil, which is like 76, is awesome. Like so good. So yeah, so I was so close. There was that I just figured I might as well just get them all. Plus, I mean, even the ones I wasn't like my top tier ones I wanted were still really good. So, and I only have one left, so it doesn't really matter. Next one, this is one I picked up at the record fair after the flea market, and this is Luigi Ladini, Azulia Arinha, and I picked this up because this is on the Carmo label. I'm kind of like, it's kind of anything on the Carmo label I was looking for. I don't know a lot of it. His Carmo label is Egberto Gismonti's label. I think it was a subsidiary of EMI, if I'm not mistaken. But he had a run of records for like 3 or 4 years in the early 80s, from like 81 to or like 82 to 86, something like that. So yeah, I saw the cover and I was like, oh, is that a Carmo? And I was able to pull it. The price was right. It was pretty cheap. These records are interesting. Most of them aren't really that sought after. They're not like dirt cheap. Some can run like $20. There's a couple that run in the 3 figures. So yeah, this is one that I didn't really know it. And this is probably the one, a lot of stuff's mostly like avant-garde, jazz, like kind of like early 80s. A lot of it's like minimal, guitar, piano. Most of the people on their guitar, but yeah, it's like that 80s, kind of like avant 80s feel. This one is more kind of on the classical side, I would say. It does have some, yeah, I don't know, I'll call it like avant classical, but it's not like, it is just mostly a piano. There is some kind of percussion and there's some like, it kind of has that 80s vibe with there's some parts with like a drum machine, but it's not it's just like, it just comes in like, and that's it. It's not like the whole song or anything. It's interesting. It's I don't know, not something I'd probably go to, but it's, if I'm looking for something in that, I don't have a lot of records kind of in that genre, so yeah, definitely. And I don't know, they only have about, Carmo, I think they put out less than 20 releases. So I think I have 3 now, so it might be something I'm trying to complete. There's like 2 or 3 that are really expensive. There's a couple that I'm seeking for sure. But yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit of popularity too. But in Brazil, like, I don't know, people really don't think of it as highly. So if I'm able to, you can probably pick them up for cheaper in Brazil. And I was able to get that one for like $15 or something, pretty cheap. Next one, this is Guilherme Coutinho, Procura-se, and this is on the original on Chancellor. And I don't know, I picked this up. Guilherme Coutinho is better known for his album he put out in 78. I think, I forget the name of it. It's Guilherme Super Junto, and that's what this is. But and that one's like jazz funk, and it's like probably one of the most highly regarded jazz, or kind of like Brazilian albums, like especially that jazz funk realm. This is an earlier one from 71. This one's like really rare, really hard to find. Fernando was kind of nudging me. It was on my list, but yeah, the price was decent, but it actually, out of all the records I bought, this one is probably in the worst condition. It is pretty noisy, even though it doesn't look that bad. But I cleaned it has a couple marks, but it's more of like constant background noise. So I don't know what is the deal. I cleaned the living heck out of this thing. It sounds okay. I mean, it sounds like a VG maybe, but anyways, probably the one I regret the most. Not just because of the condition, and the sleeves has some like pretty big split, but like I said, it's like super rare, really hard to find. I mean, I don't even think there's any for sale on Discogs. I don't know if it's never been repressed, but I am in the works of getting an upgrade, at least a vinyl for really cheap. It has like a trash sleeve, but like supposedly a really nice vinyl. So kind of in the works of remedying that. Yeah, so yeah, there was probably 2 regrets from Brazil. Maybe I bought this one instead of buying this other record that I really liked. I know I wanted it. I wasn't like super familiar with it. I listened to it a couple times. I knew it was on my list. And I didn't pick it up, but I knew the price was decent. But it had like the cover was like pretty creased, and it had like a kind of a mark on it that I didn't know if it would affect play or not. And I mean, it was 700 reais, which I probably could have got. The good thing about buying at the flea market, I was able to get discounts, especially with being Fernando. I mean, especially, oh, give cash, you get like 10% off. So I probably could have got it for like 600, which was like 120 bucks, which is still a lot, but for that record, I didn't want to spend that much money and not be happy with it. And then as soon as I got home, I started listening to it again, and I was, God, it's such a good record. So disappointed I left it, but like I said, I did just buy a copy. I paid a lot more than what I could have got it for, but this one is guaranteed excellent condition. But yeah, so between that, getting this one, not that one instead, that's probably my biggest regret. But like I said, I'm ending up getting a good copy of both, so all is well in the world. This is one I was really stoked on. I didn't think I would find this. I was actually looking for his other one, which is on the Karma label I talked about, Berto Gismonti's label. So this is kind of like avant, early 80s kind of jazz. Yeah, it is jazz. This is an interesting record. This one's all over the place. There's some weird avant experimental stuff, but then there's a couple songs that are a little bit more jazzy and like more like, I would call them like normal, not so experimental. But this is Marco Bosco, Metal Maderia. So he has some stuff where it's just like some weird percussion, just kind of like very minimal, experimental. But then there's one song, there's a couple songs on here that is amazing, especially side 2. Side 1's probably a little weirder. Side 2 is a little bit more palatable. Yeah, side 2 there's a song on here. It's just amazing. It has it's called Madeira 2, which is Mai de Terra. It has Luli and Lucia, who are these like two girls. I have one of their albums from '78. Like beautiful voices. They kind of like interplay really well together. And this, yeah, the song is amazing. So I highly recommend that, Mai Terra. If you check out any songs from this album, check out that one. Like I said, his second album is on the Karma label, and that's the one I was looking for. But to run across that record is really hard to find for a pretty good price too. This other one, I'm super stoked on this. This one is Os Catedraquitos Ataque. I don't know how you say it, but this is Eomar Deodato before he did like a lot of, I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of Eomar Deodato stuff, which is on stuff on CAT or CTI. I'm sorry, CAT. Thinking too much about work. CTI, and he had some releases, I think maybe on Impulse. I can't remember. But he has three albums with Os Catedraquitos, and this is the one I liked. Some of the stuff was a little bit kind of on the cheeseball side. On the other two, it's kind of walks that fine line, but this one is, I don't know, it just works for me. So yeah, this one I was really looking. You can on Discogs, it's hard to find it, so it's hard to get one for a good price, but you could tell from the price history that it's not an expensive record. So to come across this, and this is exactly why I was digging in the flea market for stuff like this. It was like, I think I paid like 20 bucks for it. For the sleeves are obviously pretty, I mean, it's okay, it's intact, but it's very frail. But that's kind of like South American stuff. But the records, after I cleaned it, it sounds really good. So really stoked to get that for an amazing price. This one is one that I had actually ordered from a seller. It was waiting for me when I got there. He had a couple records ready to ship, and so I was just kind of last minute looking at his inventory. I mean, might as well pull the trigger on something. It's gonna save me, 30 bucks in shipping, so might as well do it now. And I was able to negotiate with him a little bit. This is Hildon. This is his first one. Na Rua, na Chuva, na Fazenda on Polydor, and this is the record's like super clean, like BG++. The record it's okay. Like it's got some wear, but not bad. And this thing's amazing. This is a classic Brazilian album. It's like soul folk, sort of like super groovy folk. Really good. Good songwriting. It depends on your mood. Like sometimes I listen to it, I'm like, oh, it's kind of not. But if you just kind of sit back, relax, and just kind of listen to it and not critically think it, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just waiting for something to happen. It's just a really good album. I remember listening to this in my backyard when I first got home, after I cleaned it, and putting on. I know the first song, that was like always the song that we go to, but you just like listen to it, like, oh, this song's good, and like I was kind of waiting. If I want to post a song on Instagram, just me chilling in the backyard. I was actually like right here, just chilling with the I actually got the record player set up on my cooler right now. So it's kind of I had a similar setup, and just like every song kept coming, I'm like, oh yeah, this one, oh yeah, that one. So that's the kind of record it is. Really good record, Hilden. He's got a lot of good stuff. Like he had like 3 or 4 albums. I think this one's from 78 or 70. I don't know the year, but it was like somewhere like 76, 78, late 70s, something like that. But he had like 3 albums up to like 80, really good. So this is one that I got at the record fair after. So like I said, there wasn't too much, but there was some newer records that I scored. This is one of them, Planet Hemp. This is the original press. This is like, Planet Hemp is Marcel de Deutsch before he was Marcel de Deutsch when he was in Planet Hemp. It's sort of like Eminem was in B12 or whatever they call it. It's kind of like that. And Marcel de Deutsch, really famous for, at least of like popular MCs, like doing like kind of like Digable Planets, who were doing like jazzy stuff. He was doing like samba, so they kind of like rap over like samba songs. A little bummed on this one. I got a decent price, and Fernando knew the seller, so the guy kind of hooked me up a little bit. But there's some pops in this, which it's hard to tell on the white vinyl. It looks good. I mean, yeah, it's hard to tell there, but yeah, there's a couple right off the bat. I think it's side A or side B, a couple like pretty big pops. So I was a little bummed on that, but still good one to have. Classic, hard record to find from the 90s. I think 90 is Sam here. 97. So they weren't really pressing a lot of records, as you know. This is one that I got at another one I got at the flea market. This one was a really good price, I think, because there's a lot going on in the sleeve there. But this is Uriana Banda, and this is from '92. Also a really rare record. It's kind of like what you think it is. It's like the kind of like hippie. It has like a Middle Eastern like kind of sound to it, but like folky and yeah, really good, really chill record. It's mostly instrumental. I think there is a little bit of singing on here, if I remember. But yeah, couldn't pass it up. The price was really good for this. I don't know. I think it was like maybe $40, which this record goes for a lot more than that. So just jumped on it. Oh, let me flip over the Eckner's Landing. It's not bad. First time I had heard it. It's kind of like fusion, soul fusion, jazz stuff. I don't know. It was only like $5, so I figured might as well pick it up. I mean, it is in Discogs, but there's nothing online to listen to. So I figured take a chance. Anyways, another one I picked up at the fair, the record fair. This is Kiko Danucci. You can see there Kiko Danucci, and he signed it and he numbered it. I got 114 out of 530. This is independently pressed by him. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Asustado Discos. Asustado Discos. I thought it was private press, but it's on red vinyl. This is one of the Kiko Danucci's I didn't have. I actually have all of his records except for he just put one out on a record club, and I asked my friend to buy one for me, and he was a little late and it sold out. But he says he knows Kiko and he's gonna get me a copy from him signed. Apparently, I don't know, but whatever. But this is Kiko Danucci's the godfather of Samba Sujo in Brazil. This record is probably his most punk effort. Very fast, very hard. But there is some lighter moments on here. But yeah, I love Kiko Danucci, and I was listening to this once. I mean, I've listened to it a bunch, but I was listening to it online, like cleaning my backyard, and I was like, whoa, why didn't I pick that up? One of my regrets, but I was able to remedy that, and it was a decent price. Definitely cheaper than what it goes for. This is probably the crown jewel of what I picked up because it's just a lot of things. It's just this record is super rare. This is Marielles y Copa 5 y Som. JT Marielles, he is a sax player, as you can see. The sleeve is very frail. as I had to put it in a couple different inner sleeves because they had a shitty one. I think bought it without one, put it in, and like every time I put it in, I lost a little bit of the sleeve and it's just frail. So I can't take it out of the outer plastic anymore because I'll be losing pieces. But this is the original on Phillips, but the vinyl's really clean. Yeah. So I would say it's the prize because it's probably the rarest record I bought. And I was digging at the flea market in those guys' crates, the one who has like the really good crates, and this just guy came out of nowhere. And one of the cool things about being there, and my friend Fernando, he bought a record the same way, is there's people who are there trying to get Brazilians who are trying to get rid of their records. So they're going to some of the dealers and selling, hey, do you want to buy these? And I was just digging, and this guy just came up and said, hey, like in Portuguese, obviously. So he didn't say hey, he said, oi, oi to the mall. And just, I sort of knew what he was saying, but he had some records, and he's kind of telling me they're for sale. Que vende isso, it's a disco raro, like telling me it's rare. And I knew this. I was like, yeah. I mean, I didn't know how much exactly it was worth, but I knew it was, a few $100 record. And I took a look, and I think he wanted like 300 reais for it or something, which is like $60. And I was like, dude, I'll take it. So it wasn't even, I didn't buy it from a vendor. I don't know if he thought I was a vendor. I was just digging through records, and this guy just came up to me and asked me if I wanted. He actually had this, and he had like a classical record, but I don't know what the hell the classical record is. So yeah, for me that was the best dig because of just how I got it. Sorry, there's like I think I got just a reflection. But so yeah, just the whole story behind how I got it was just like so cool, like that's and I wouldn't have got it unless I'm there at a flea market in Brazil, like just being in there in that moment, that opportunity presented itself. So it was really awesome. And this is kind of more like traditional jazz. So yeah, nothing like super heavy. It's just a rare record, and the jazz is great, but it is more of like a traditional, what you call it, like bop or post bop or whatever. But obviously with a little bit of Latin swing. So super stoked on that one. That was my crown jewel. Another record, probably my crown jewels and like the best record I got there. But this is one I had shipped to me from a seller. It was waiting for me. This is Som Imaginario. Their second, and this is led by Wagner Tiso, the one who I talked about is in part of Clube Esquina and is on that Milton Nascimento record. Yeah, they only have 3 records, and this is the second, and this is the last one I needed. I've had the first one for a while. I probably could use an upgrade to that one though. This one's like super clean, like insanely clean. So I picked up the third one maybe like a couple months before I left. So this is the second one. I've had the first one for a couple years, so now I have all 3. This is like, oh gosh, kind of like psych-leaning, jazz folk. Kind of, it's not like hard psych, like rock psych, but it is psych. Just a little bit. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of, I would say call like a jazz psych, or I would say more like a folk jazz psych kind of record. Really, really good. Som Imaginario, highly recommended. Here's last couple, some newer records. This is one of my favorite newer Brazilian jazz artists is Tiago França. Charango de França, Espetacular Charanga de França, Nunca na Audi a Carnival. This just came out, and yeah, I was excited to get this. I had just bought it maybe a couple weeks before I went to Brazil, so it arrived at my wife's friend's house before I left, so I was super happy. Like I said, this is like jazz, but it is kind of like samba, very carnival, like big drums. Yeah, really good. I really love Tiago França. His stuff's all over the place. He got some stuff that's more spiritual. This is kind of like a funner, like I said, like samba-esque jazz kind of outing. It's clear mind on. You can see my face through there. Yeah, super stoked to get that one before I left. I have all his stuff now. This is the last one that I got a couple more, but this is Soulja Bang Crew. This was on Trey Salos Record Club. They must have pressed a lot because this did not sell out. And this is his first solo album, I believe. Yeah, the first Carolina was the first one to get. It's been on. I think Mr. Bongo pressed that one a long time ago. So that one got a vinyl press 10 years ago. This one was, I think it's from 2004. Never had a vinyl press. So yeah, he's got a second one too. I think it got pressed not too long ago, so I need to pick that one up as well. But yeah, this one has the famous song. I think it has Prechini on it. Yeah, this is really good. Salga Salva. Prechini. It's like one of his famous songs. So yeah, but I was a little worried. This one came that day, the day from the record fair, because I went to the record fair. I went to the. I showed up at the flea market. Like, I was gonna be there at 7, but then my friend said he wouldn't be there till like 9 or 10. So I held off. I didn't show up till like 8. Probably should have went a little sooner, but it didn't matter. I was there super early. I was there probably till like 12, and then we went to so I was there for about 4 hours, and then I went to the fair. We were there for a few hours. It was pretty small. There was like 6 vendors, and there wasn't a ton. And then from there I walked to my wife's best friend's son's 2nd birthday, which is like, it's probably about a mile. So I walked about a mile with like all these records, and her friend had brought that. She just got it the day before, so I got that like 2 days before I left. So I was like so happy it arrived. So yeah, those are the ones that I got. I got a couple more records here. These are ones that I found at the fair as well. I already have them, but their prices were so good. They were like probably half or less of what I paid for my copies, and they were like super clean. This is what I'm saying I should go. Next time I'm going to pick up a ton of stuff like this. I've already traded a couple, so these are the 2 I have left. Yeah, some of the records I'm not showing that I'm cleaning. The records I traded some Georgia Bain records before I got them. I got some jazz records that I haven't been able to listen yet, so I'll show those in my next video. But this is the first one. If anyone has any interest in these, just hit me up, contact me. This is Egberto Gismontes Sonho 70. And this is the original on Polydor. I had the repress for a long time, 5 years, and I was always wanting to get the original. This is. Yeah, Egberto Gismontes' second album. He's the one who does the Carmo label, but this is from 70. He didn't do the Carmo label until like early 80s. But this is jazz, but it's like very theatrical, and yeah, he's a master of guitar and piano. But there's like a lot of strings in this. It's a really interesting record. It's not your typical jazz record. Like I said, it's very like cinematic. Yeah, highly recommend it. I think the whole thing's on streaming. But yeah, I couldn't pass it up. It was such a good price, and the record was like so clean. I got home, I cleaned it. It sounds really good. I don't see a scratch on it. Yeah, so if anyone's interested, I'm gonna get this. Actually, side A has some scuffing on, but I played it. It sounds good. Yeah, if anyone's interested, hit me up for a trade, or I can sell it. Otherwise, I'll just post it and sell it. And the last one, I found this is like the 3rd copy I've had, but this is Chico Buarque, Construction. Yeah, the price was like really good on this. I couldn't pass it up. It has the insert, super clean copy, VG Plus, quality VG Plus, has the insert. Yeah. This is classic. Like, a lot of people consider this like one of the best Brazilian records of all time. I think it's good. I wouldn't put it that high, but it is like MPB, but it's like very dark. I personally think this is Chico Buarque's only album worth owning, but prove me wrong, I guess. I haven't heard anything else that really caught my attention as much as this one. This is a classic through and through, every song. Yeah, and this is probably like the most affordable essential Brazilian album, I would say. It's pretty. A lot of stuff goes for really expensive now. So if anyone is interested in purchasing or trading for one of those, hit me up. If not, I hope everyone is doing well, and I will hopefully have more records to show sometime soon. But if not, I'll keep watching your videos, and later.